Hello there, my name is Joe Cargile. Thanks for watching. Name of this video is Gun Safety. We're going to cover the 4 firearm safety rules that are never, ever, ever, ever to be broken, and some gun safety handling techniques as well. So, these firearm safety rules are presented only in order that I choose to present them in. They have no priority. They are all equally important, and they are never, ever, ever, ever to be broken. What do I mean by that? You don't break these rules when you're at the gun range. You don't break these rules when you're at the gun store. You don't break these rules when you're shooting down a bloodthirsty murderer. Okay? Never, ever, 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 ever break these 4 firearm safety rules. So the first rule I want to introduce you to is treat every weapon as if it is loaded. Now, different people and organizations will say that kind of differently, but that's ultimately the gist. Don't get hung up on the words particularly. Just understand, every time you handle a weapon, respect it as though it is loaded. Even if it is from the gun counter of the gun store into your hands, you just want to see how it feels and stuff, you still show it the respect a loaded gun deserves. Okay? The minute you disrespect or you're not being mindful of a weapon capability as though it were loaded, that's when it will bite you in the ass and it'll be possibly the worst day of your life. The next firearm safety rule I want to cover with you is keep your finger straight and high off the trigger until you've made the decision to shoot. Basically, it looks like this. There's a couple reasons why I say straight and high off the trigger. For one thing, you actually have something you can index up here, and that is the ejection port or ejection well, whatever you want to call that. In this manner, my finger is not actually stressed. It's not muscled out of the way. It's actually resting on that ledge, so it's actually quite comfortable. The first couple of times I did it, it felt weird, but you get over that in less than a day if you practice this. The next thing is if you get around in the firearms training community, you will notice people that do this, and you'll notice that people do this, and you will notice that people do this. And this is the mark of the true professional. And if you want to be taken seriously as a gun handler of any kind, whether it's a student, teacher, or otherwise, keep your fingers straight and high off the trigger. Next firearm safety rule, and the way that I present it to people when I'm talking to them about it, is only point the weapon at things or people you're willing to destroy or kill. A lot of people say it a lot of different ways. When I first learned the rule in the Marine Corps, they said never point the weapon at anything you don't intend to shoot. I don't like saying that because in the thought process of what you're looking for to qualify under this rule is, well, I don't intend to shoot my computer, I don't intend to shoot my glass, I don't intend to shoot the wall, so what can I point it at? I don't intend to shoot any of these things. So what are some safe areas you can generally point a gun? Well, at the ground or in the sky are generally 2 variable safe directions that you could actually point a gun. I don't like pointing the gun at the ground because the idea that if it suddenly went off, I would probably catch some shrapnel in my foot. Not necessarily shoot my foot, but concrete surfaces, marble surfaces, sidewalk, roads, any given rock in the ground could shatter that bullet and send shrapnel straight into my foot. So pointing it in the air is actually less dangerous for me. But again, if the gun were to suddenly go off, there is a slight chance that it could land on somebody else's skull. It happens. Which one am I willing to live with? That's going to kind of depend on the scenario. You know, if I'm in a Mall of America and there's an active murderer on the loose, I'm going to point the gun up because chances are there's going to be little kids running around and I don't want to point the gun down. I'd rather take the risk of that bullet finding somebody after it's traveled a mile versus 2 feet. Does that make sense? I hope it does. It's got to point somewhere. You know, and I understand that this is a difficult concept for brand new shooters to get used to. It's got to point somewhere. The idea is to point it somewhere where it will do the least amount of damage as possible. If I happen to shoot my computer, that will suck. I will have to replace it or fix it or whatever. That's not nearly as bad as if I point it at my dog and I shoot my dog, because I can't get this dog back. Only point the gun at things or people you're willing to destroy or kill. 4th firearm safety rule I want to present to you. Be aware of your target. what's beyond it, and what's in between. Another way to say that is be aware of the person you are shooting, the innocent people behind him, and the innocent people running in between you and him. Innocent bystanders get shot most often by people who are not mindful of this rule. A lot of backyard shooters get in trouble with this rule because they don't understand that that bullet just keeps going and going and going until it finds a backstop, which would eventually be the ground if it didn't hit anything else. Hopefully it hits the ground and not anything else. But in any case, if you're setting up a target, set up a backstop. Now we're going to talk about some other safe gun handling techniques. We kind of already covered pointing the gun up or down. We're also going to talk about keep the weapon on safe until you are ready to fire. Not all guns have a safety. The particular gun I have right now does not have a safety. So this is my safety. Keeping my fingers straight and high off the trigger until I made the decision to shoot. But if your gun has a safety on it, it doesn't matter, rifle, shotgun, handgun, whatever. Keep the weapon on safe until you're ready to fire. So for the handgun, when you're getting ready to fire is when you're attaining that full firing grip. So before it even comes out of the holster, it's on fire. For rifle or shotgun, basically whatever position you're carrying it at, basically most people carry it at the low ready, until that rifle comes up, stock in the shoulder, cheek on the stock, keep it on safe. So for an AK, when you bring it up and as soon as it makes contact with the cheek, safety comes off. If it's an AR-15 M16, keep it on safe until it gets onto the cheek, flip, safety comes off. Shotgun, depending on where that is, flip it up or toss it over when you bring it up. More important than any safety lever is finger straight and off the trigger. Next one I want to cover with you is kind of a pet peeve of mine. And I mean, this is just one of those, like, it's a common sense thing. If you really didn't realize this, you should go to training before you buy a gun. Okay? And this is basically the rule as I would state it. The weapon is either on your person or locked up. Okay? Basically, the gun is never outside your control. Thanks again for watching. If you liked the video, go ahead and click the like button and let me know in the comments. If you didn't like the video, please let me know in the comment section what part of it you didn't like. If there was something I forget or something I didn't mention, let me know. And if I could paraphrase Mr. Edmund Burke, evil only prevails when good people are not prepared. Thanks again for watching. So if you liked the video and you liked a particular aspect, only pointing the weapon at things you or people you